Today I'm going to be showing you how I feed my 100% Einkorn sourdough starter. I feed it a few different ways depending on my needs. Before I go ahead and do that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nicole. I'm a wife and a mom to four young, very wild boys, a registered nurse for the last 19 years, and unfortunately I suffer from a chronic and sometimes very debilitating and unpredictable disease called systemic lupus. The channel's all about my Einkorn sourdough journey, life with four wild boys, and pursuing a big dream of opening up my own micro bakery called Rooted in Einkorn. And this is all while I'm navigating my chronic illness. Lupus is definitely a big part of my story, and it will always be a big part of my story, but I really refuse to let it be my entire story. Rooted in Einkorn focuses on ancient grains, specifically einkorn, hence the name. I have spent countless hours researching how to holistically manage my lupus symptoms through my diet. And after being completely gluten-free for a little over 5 years, I had felt completely miserable and felt like I was missing out on the joy of eating real, nourishing bread. Instead, I was stuck eating cardboard bread. And that's when I discovered einkorn, and I truly fell in love with this ancient grain. Over time, I found that working with this ancient grain is a little challenging, but it's one of the few things that has really brought absolute peace and joy to my life. So whether you're looking to learn more about einkorn baking tips, seeking inspiration to live out your passion, all while you're maybe managing your own chronic illness, I encourage you to come follow along. And I hope we can learn more about einkorn together and just really have fun baking with einkorn. It can be challenging, but it's so much fun to work with. So I'm really glad you're here, and let's get into today's video. So today I'm feeding Millie. She is my 100% einkorn sourdough starter that I made about 2 years ago. I only used all-purpose organic einkorn flour from Jovial Foods for my starter. I use nothing else, and I absolutely love it. I'm using a 1 to 5 to 5 ratio, and I haven't fed it in a few days since my oven broke about a week ago, unfortunately. And that's another story for another time, but it was a very costly disaster. So I'm feeding 1 to 5 to 5 ratio, so that's 10 grams starter, 50 grams flour, and 50 grams water. So that's 100% hydration. And as you can see, it's like a pancake batter thickness, and it really should peak within 6 to 10 hours since my kitchen is a little cool from having the AC on. And I'll probably make waffles or pancakes in the AM, and then I'll do another feed, and then I do plan to make a loaf of bread tomorrow evening, finally, after a week. So let me know in the comments how you feed your starter, if you have your own einkorn starter, and if you're interested in making one. And I'd love to maybe do a future video on how to make your own einkorn sourdough starter. So thanks for being here, and I look forward to making more videos. Take care. Bye. Today I'm going to be showing you how I feed my 100% Einkorn sourdough starter. I feed it a few different ways depending on my needs, but before I go ahead and do that, I'd like to just introduce myself since this is a new channel. My name is Nicole. I'm a wife and a mom to four young, wild, and crazy boys. A registered nurse for the last 19 years, focusing on cardiac nursing, and Unfortunately, I suffer from a chronic, debilitating, at times, and unpredictable disease called systemic lupus. I've been dealing with that for the last 8 years. This channel is really all about my Einkorn sourdough journey, my life with my 4 wild boys, and pursuing a big dream of mine, which is to open up a micro bakery called Rooted in Einkorn. And this is all while I navigate my chronic illness. Each day is completely different how I feel physically and even mentally. And lupus has been a big part of my story and will always be a big part of my story, but I refuse to let it be my entire story. So Rooted in Einkorn focuses on ancient grains, specifically einkorn, hence the name. And I have spent countless hours researching how to holistically manage my lupus symptoms through diet. After being completely gluten-free for about 5 years, I felt completely miserable and like I was missing out on the joy of eating real, nourishing bread. I felt like I was just eating bread that tasted like cardboard. That's when I really discovered einkorn, and I truly fell in love with it. And over time, I've found that although this ancient grain can be challenging to work with, I really find that it is one of the few things that has brought me absolute peace. So whether you're looking to just learn more about einkorn flour, maybe some einkorn baking tips, or seeking inspiration to live out your passion, maybe all while you're managing your own chronic illness, I just hope that you can be inspired by my channel and just follow along, and hopefully we can learn together and just have fun baking einkorn. So I'm really glad you're here, and let's get into today's video. So today I'm feeding Millie. She is my 100% Einkorn sourdough starter that I made about 2 years ago. I only use an all-purpose organic einkorn flour from Jovial Foods for my starter. I use nothing else. I absolutely love this flour. And today I'm using a 1:5:5 ratio. And I haven't fed it for a few days since my oven broke a week ago, which is a story for another time. But yes, I couldn't bake any sourdough loaves for about a week, and it was a very costly disaster on my end. So I'm feeding 1:5:5 ratio. So I'm using 10 grams starter, equal parts flour and water. So 50 grams flour and 50 grams water. So this is going to be 100% hydration. And I am expecting it to be a pancake batter thickness, which as you can see it is. And this should really peak within 6 to 10 hours in my kitchen since it is cool and I have the air conditioning on. So definitely will take about 6 to 10 hours. I will probably make waffles or pancakes in the morning, and then I'll just do another feed, and I plan to make a loaf of bread tomorrow evening with it. So just let me know in the comments how you feed your starter. Do you have a homemade starter? Maybe you're interested in making your own einkorn starter. I'd be more than happy to do a video on how I made Millie. And it's a lot of fun, and I take a lot of pride in making things from scratch. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.